And Richard and I, we are riding together in a rally car. So I'm his navigator and he's the driver because he can't see. So that's why I'm there.
Tour guide this morning will be a tiny bit different because, I don't know. I mean, all this time we've only traveled to beautiful places in the country, but it's all things traveling tips. It's all things cars and gears. It's all things you need to know when it comes to your vehicles and the cool and funky stuff about it. Now, today on Tour Guide, I have the pleasure to be chatting to two incredible individuals who share a common passion, and that is, of course, go-kart racing, although the one is feeling a little under the weather, so he said someone, don't worry. And our guests are Cecil Koortz Senior, of who will be representing Cecil Koortz Jr., and Richard Slamet from the Cars and Gears, a popular motoring lifestyle program on One Africa. Now, Cecil has the chance to compete, Cecil Jr. has the chance to compete at the Rock Cup Nationals in Cape Town next month, and they are here to talk all about the journey in the sport and Cecil Jr.'s road to making his participation possible. Good morning to the both of you.
Morning.
How are you guys doing?
Fine yourself.
Very well, thanks. Richard?
We're doing good. Good morning.
I'm also doing very well. Thank you so much for coming. So let's start off with Cecil, and he'll be answering on behalf of Cecil Jr. because he's the manager, right? You have all the tricks in the hat. So
yeah, I'm the dad, the mechanic, the sponsor, the doctor.
So he's gonna make sure to be sharing all the answers. Now, how did Cecil get into the sport of racing, and what does he love most about it?
Cecil was introduced to go-karting 3 years ago. He's now at the moment 9. So 3 years ago he was 6. A friend of mine asked, listen, doesn't your son want to be a go-kart driver or just see if he wants to do it? So I said, yes, we can try it. So he lent me one and we went to Tony Russ track for test drive, and he was very, very, very slow.
Okay.
Like
I am on the go-kart.
Like in very, very slow. Yeah, so after each lap, he became faster and faster. He was sitting uncomfortable in the seat and the car and everything. So after that session, I asked him, listen, do you want to do this as a sport? Then he asked me, he said, Daddy, what do you mean? I thought we're going to drive go-karts. I said, no, this is a sport, a proper sport. So then he said, yes, he wants to do it. So after that, I bought him a car from Cape Town, a little Bambino. And that year he started, and he was the Namibian championship for that year. He won the Namibian championship for that year, for his first time ever when he was in a go-kart.
Now let's go to Richard here quickly. For you, how long have you been involved in the sport?
So I was born into motorsport. My dad used to be a race driver, and my uncles. So yeah, I was basically born into it myself. I started racing at the age of about 13 years. So I didn't start as young as Cecil Jr. or even my son Richard Jr. So just for the record, both Cecil and I were not very original when it came to naming our sons. Both of them have the same names as us, just Junior. And so I've been in motorsport all my life, as long as I can remember, and so is all my family. My brother races still in Cape Town or in South Africa. He races motorcycles. My sister's she also raced motorbikes here in Windhoek. She was the only ever female superbike racer on Tony Russ Raceway. So motorsport is just a part of my family.
It's in the blood. It's in the blood. Now let's get to Cecil here real quick. The challenges that you face in the industry. Yes, you are all of everything you're supposed to be for your son competing in the sport professionally. But what are the specific challenges that you face in the industry, and how did that inspire you and other motorsport enthusiasts?
The challenge that me as a father, because I'm also in, like Richard said, I'm also in motorsport. I'm 22 years now in motorsport, and Richard and I, we are riding together in a rally car. So I'm his navigator and he's the driver because he can't see. So that's why I'm there. But the challenge that we're facing basically is sponsorships. That's the biggest challenge because motorsport is very, very expensive. For example, on the go-karts, a set of tires is around about $4,000.
Oh my goodness.
And if you want to perform, you have to put new tires on every
race.
leg or every race. So then it becomes costly. but go-karts itself is not as costly as, say, for instance, circuit racing or rally or whatever. Because if they bump, it's a plastic that can be repaired or something. But if it's a really big crash and something broke on the chassis or whatever, then it becomes expensive. But if you want to become a go-kart driver, only for Namibia, or to do it as a sport in Namibia, then it's not so expensive. It's basically the car that you have to buy, and then if you want to put on new tires every leg, and even if you want to go to Swakop for a race there, then the transport and that is there. But actually, the like I said, the biggest thing for us is sponsorship. It costs a lot of money. So like my son we are competing next week in the Rock Cup National in Cape Town. Not next month, like you mistakenly said.
Next week is next month.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Next week is
No
next
problem.
month. Okay, but yeah, so then it becomes costly because it's airplane tickets, it's accommodation. He has a car there and everything. And then like Junior is going, October is going to Italy for the world final. So he's basically the youngest ever for now that is going to overseas to compete in the world final for go-karts, and the youngest ever to get Namibian colors
Wow.
in go-kart, in motorsport. Like I said, he's 3 years in motorsport. I'm 22 years in motorsport. I didn't.
You didn't achieve anything close
I
to
don't
that,
even
right?
have Namibian colors for motorsport. So he's better than me.
And for you, Richard, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges? Anything else you'd like to add to what Cecil said?
No, I actually fully agree with Cecil, is that the sponsorship is one of the biggest setbacks for us. I must say that Namibia has so much talent when it comes to motorsport. Whenever Namibians go abroad, when they race in South Africa, and I just previously mentioned my brother still races there and was leading the ZX10 championship, South African championship. He's multiple Western Province champion. We had the likes of guys like Alex Howard, the World Road Dippenaar often goes and competes there, and they always come back with the silverware. So Namibia has so much talent. Unfortunately, we as Namibia, we can't invest in our talent as much as what the South Africans, for instance, can, and that's why South Africa gets the opportunity to compete on the world stage.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
much
because
more
they're
than what we can.
exposed so much more than we are.
So funding is our biggest setback, and that goes on all levels, not just for the races themselves, but also for the organizers, because events aren't being sponsored the way that they normally sponsored in South Africa, for instance. So we can't organize events to the same magnitude or quality as what we see in South Africa. So we're trying our best with our limited resources, and I must say that we're still producing so much talent out of this country. Our new, or not new, but the latest Motorsport Federation commission that we have, EC that we have at the moment, the Executive Commission, sorry, that's what I wanted to say. They are doing very well and trying very hard to get us onto the world stage and on the maps. And yes, kudos to Cecil and his team from the Rock Namibia that was able to source these tickets for our Rock champions to be able, as Namibian champions, to represent our country on the world stage and compete against the rest of the world.
Absolutely.
So this is the first time ever that any karter gets opportunity to race in a world championship. And I'm sure it's not going to be the last. It's definitely going to be a steep and a tough learning curve for them. I know that as a fact, but I must say that they're preparing themselves very well, very, very well. So yes, finances is one of our biggest setbacks.
And this brings me to the next question, Cecil. What is, for you personally, what are the long-term goals, specifically in motorsport in Namibia?
Long-term goal for me.
You are too great to say you want to start racing again.
I'm too fat and ugly. But
okay, that too. Yeah.
My long-term goal is not for me, but it's for my son.
Yeah.
To give him the best opportunity what I can give him. I know he's a Lewis Hamilton fan, and his dream is to become a F1 driver. So that is basically the goal that we're working to. I joke to my wife, last week and she said, yeah, but if we're going to Italy now, and what if someone sees him and they want to give him opportunity to race there? And then I told my wife, we're gonna miss her. So then me and my son will stay back in Italy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's only dreams, but if you can dream it, you can do it.
Absolutely.
I must say though, it sounds easier said than done.
Yeah.
I remember back many years ago, Richard Jr. was 7 years old and he got the opportunity to race in Holland at that stage. But I just couldn't see myself letting my 7-year-old son move all the way to the Netherlands to
But I mean,
racing.
for Cecil, it's more the opportunities and granting him the chance to grow in the sport. And if that's what it will cost,
It
then
is. But you're gonna have to pack up your family, dude.
I won't leave him there on his own. But if they pay him enough, and
to pay you as well.
and I can stay there, then
Yeah.
then I'm gonna miss my wife.
Yeah. Now you mentioned that seeking sponsorship is such a big challenge in the sport specifically, and already next week you're going to South Africa to compete, and soon you'll be going to Italy and so on and so forth. Now, what kind of sponsorships are you guys looking at in terms of supporting this great sport?
Okay, the sponsorship, like if I go to a potential sponsorship person, they ask what you need, and I say to them, listen, every bit help. If you want to give $1,000 or $100, or you want to give him a set of tires, or you want fuel, we can't give you fuel because we race under certain
rules.
Yeah, control fuel as they call it.
Okay.
So they supply the fuel and everything. But every bit helps.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can't say to someone that you must give me that. Or if it's a big company, then how much is your company worth?
Yeah.
For the sponsorship and your name on his suit and everything.
Absolutely. So you're looking at branding the car, branding the suit. I don't know, go the 9 yards for this.
Yeah.
And these are the opportunities that you have. If you're listening and you think you would be interested in supporting this great endeavor, in the end, it is all about representing Namibia on the international stage. And speaking about it, how can we get in touch with you guys, Richard?
With me, you can get in touch. I'm on Facebook as well as on Instagram. Just look for Richard Slamet or for Slamet Racing. And I know that with Cecil, you can look for Sima Racing. Check them out on Facebook, especially their page is very, very active. And there you can also see a few more pictures and see what this whole racing and go-karting thing that we're talking about is all about.
Yeah.
So check out Facebook, look up Cecil or Sima Racing in particular.
Yeah,
and,
Sima Racing is CEMA.
Okay, Sima Racing, got
Sima
it.
Racing, and a lot of people ask me, what is Sima? It's my two children's first names.
Oh, put together the two
Cecil
letters.
and Maya. That's Sima.
Okay, cool.
Oh, there you have it. So
Thank you guys so much for coming in, and we'd like to wish you all the best. We will throw it in there every other time just to remind people that this great opportunity awaits them, and not only to support you, but to make sure that that flag is flown quite high. And that was Cecil Koortz as well as Richard Slamet talking to us about the road going ahead in terms of go-karting and motorsport in general. We'll be back on the other side.
99 FM
Tour Guide.